It's Halloween season, so let's talk about ghost and real estate. Hi, I'm Jennifer Nicely with Pinnacle Real Estate Academy. Make sure you click that subscribe button, follow us because we have information posting and going out all the time. So it's Halloween season and I want to talk a little bit about ghosts, specifically in the state of South Carolina. Now keep in mind, as I go through the law in South Carolina, each state is going to have their own laws when it comes to ghosts and their own requirements when it comes to ghosts. So in South Carolina, there are 5 different types of properties, and these properties are called stigmatized properties. Now, if it falls under one of these 5 different categories, you are not required by law to disclose and volunteer the information up front. The only time you are required by law to disclose it is if you are asked a direct question about one of these topics. So let's start with ghost. In the state of South Carolina, if I list a property as a real estate agent, I do not have to volunteer that I believe that there is a ghost in the house or I do not believe that there is a ghost in the house. But if you, the buyer or the buyer's agent, ask me or the seller directly, hey, are there any ghosts in this house? I have to be truthful and honest and respond to you. I cannot withhold it. I cannot lie, but I do not have to volunteer it. Now, the second type of stigmatized property is going to be a sex offender. When it comes to sex offenders, they do not have any rights. But as real estate agents, our job and our law states that we have to tell all consumers that the sex offender registry list exists. Now, as a real estate agent, I don't have to go on that list and I don't have to find all the sex offenders and tell you where they are. Honestly, they move a lot. So the list is constantly updated. But if asked directly and we know that there is a registered sex offender living next door, we do have to answer that truthfully. The third type of stigmatized property is going to be a virus. Now, this is any virus other than AIDS or HIV. So let's say that I have COVID, and I'm talking real estate law. Let's say I have COVID. By real estate contract law, I do not have to tell you that I have COVID. Now, if I have any other disease or virus, I don't have to tell you. When it comes to AIDS or HIV, the law on that is I cannot disclose, even if you ask me. So if you are the buyer's agent, I'm the listing agent, and you come to me and you say, hey, does your seller have AIDS or HIV? I cannot say yes, and I cannot say no. Even if they don't have AIDS or HIV, I cannot say no. My response is, by law, I can't answer that question. And the reason for this is because those who have AIDS and HIV are considered a part of the handicap class, and it's considered to be a disability, which means they have the right to privacy. All other viruses are free game. It's completely up to you whether you volunteer it or not, but you do not have to. The fourth one is going to be death. Now, this is any manner of death. And again, we're talking specifically South Carolina law. So if someone has died in the property, you do not have to volunteer that information. But if asked, you must be truthful and honest. Now, it doesn't matter the manner of death. This could be natural causes, suicide, overdose, old age. It does not matter the manner of death. It's just if death happens, it is up to you whether or not you want to volunteer the information. You do not have to volunteer it, but if someone asks you a direct question, you must be truthful and respond. The fifth type of stigmatized property is going to be an offsite hazard that does not directly impact the property. So what would an example of this be? Let's say that here in South Carolina, I am specifically on the coast. So let's say the Department of Health and Environmental Services has acknowledged and stated that the water in the ocean has higher bacteria levels. And let's say I'm going to go list a property that is not attached to the ocean. That is its own community. It's not a part of the intercoastal waterway. There's not even a pond there. There's no ocean. There's no water. That is an off-site hazard that does not directly impact this property. Now, HOAs, it does not fall underneath this. You must disclose everything that happens with an HOA, and that's a whole nother video, but please don't use that stigmatized property to avoid disclosing HOAs. That would be completely illegal and inaccurate. So again, to recap, every state's going to be different, but in the state of South Carolina, our 5 stigmatized properties is going to be ghost, virus, sex offender, death, and off-site hazard. Again, it's up to you whether you volunteer this information, but if asked directly, you must be truthful and honest. For those of you who are in other states, or maybe those of you who are in South Carolina, you may have consumers moving from other states. For example, there may be another state a buyer's moving from that their state law is you have to disclose if death happened in the house. You have to disclose if there's a ghost. And when they move to that other state, they may not realize that that is not law here. And sometimes they can get upset about that. So you as a real estate agent need to know what your laws are in your state to make sure you are straight on it. If you have any questions, feel free to comment below. Give us a call here at Pinnacle Real Estate Academy. We are always here to help. And don't forget, hit that subscribe button. We're posting constantly.